Francis Mutuku. I'm a pastor and a counseling psychologist. My first degree was on Bible and theology. My second degree or master's degree is on counseling psychology. I'm now working on my doctoral engagement or PhD in the area of psychology. And I've had interest in the area of teenage or the youth and the grown-ups also. Particularly, the last 6 months I've been researching more on the effect of social media on the lives of teenagers, the youth, the families. So essentially speaking, I've been working on family, working on the effect of social media on family setup, working on, So generally, I've come to realize that when a counselor should be of effect in the society, or even a pastor, there is need for proper research and to be engaged on research or issues of families. Because basically, by the end of the day, that will give us the general outlook of the society. When you consider this family setup, that is the children, whether they are young enough or they are teenagers or youth, and their parents, no matter what age you are looking at, I've realized that it's important to consider the issue of social networks. Social networks, or rather the effect of social networks on families and also the children, could either go either way. It could be positive and it could also be negative. In the sense that it depends on the perspective given to the same. When Facebook came, there was a lot of excitement. Initially, people feared engaging in Facebook. But as time has gone by, after interacting and also getting close to the people who have traveled around the world, you realize that many people, and especially when I talk about the Kenyan setup, or rather to be more general, the African setup, you realize that social media has become, or rather has made the world to be smaller. It has become a global village in that whatever is happening in America today, you find that it can be realized in this nation. It could even be realized right from the village where we come from, real time. I have experience of trainers who are doing a lot of good work in the society, right from Nairobi. You'll find trainers, friends of mine. They are friends of mine that I interact with, trainers on different platforms, whether they are training marketers, whether they are training sales managers, whether they are training pastors, whether they are training general congregations in churches, or whatever that they are training, you realize that they are able to do it like real time. And this has made the world to get less and less physical. Currently, I'm discussing something with a friend of mine, a psychologist, who we are doing something together for a few hospitals in Nairobi, and we realize that we don't have to have physical meetings. And I realize that most of these things have gone virtual. Meetings have changed. Social media has been able to change meetings from physical, as it were, and right now people are able to handle or to have or to experience virtual meetings. The beauty about that is that costs go down. Costs go down, and again, the physical movements of people is lessened. Now that one has helped a lot in terms of engagement with the professionals. I'll go to the side of, I'll want to dissect the importance, I would want to dissect the perspective of the social media. And I began by saying, if you remember, the social media effect could be either negative or positive. From my own experience and even research that I've done, either in college or out here, I've realized that social media could be either positive or could have good effect to families and even children, and it could also be negative. Let me begin with the positive side of the social media in the society. If you love reading like myself, you realize that a lot of work these days, a lot of work in colleges, a lot of work in the business world, a lot of work in church is being handled through the social media. A lot of trainings, like I earlier said, are being handled through the social media. I'll give an example. For example, when someone wants to train and is not able to travel, when somebody from America, UK, India, Australia, he wants to train or to speak about a certain specific subject or give a lecture in a university, and you realize that he's engaged in other things and is not able to travel, that particular expert is able to have his training through networks that are socially acceptable. And he doesn't have to travel here. He doesn't have to spend a lot of money. He doesn't have to use a lot of time on air. Secondly, social media has helped the youthful people, or even people of different age groups, to really come up to create new friendships. People are able to create new friendships and to maintain them through the social media. I was having a joke with one of my close friends the other day in the same field, who was able to compare and see a number of people that he knows who have been able to get married. They've been able to get marriage partners through the social media. It is working. It may not be very perfect, but there is a good start in the same. Again, social media has helped research a lot. Social media has helped researchers to coordinate quite a number of things. And even though there could also be cheating through social networks, but you realize that by the end of the day, academicians or people who study quite some considerable time are able to exchange material through the social media. Again, business has become much easier through the social media. And if you agree with me, you realize that particularly, Twitter, for example, if I would go to that, Twitter has helped a lot, because there is what they believe by the end of the day, that Twitter has a class of its own. Probably that's a discussion for another day, but you realize that there are many people who are able to do business, to pass on information. When marketers and other field people are sent to the field, they don't have to come back to the office every other time. I remember just about 7-10 years ago, people had to travel to the field. Companies that are field-oriented, like researchers. You find that people had to go to the field, bring back information, and keep on moving several times in a week. But today, somebody in the field is able to take whatever photo they are taking or snap, or whatever they make a snapshot, and then they're able to send it back. And that information is able to roll on. Now, what does that one mean? Safety of finances, they are able to money in terms of marketing or expenditure in terms of marketing, budgets for marketing have continued to decline in various companies, especially the multinational or the global or globally placed companies. I was having a discussion with one of directors the other day of a company that is which is actually which deals with issues of IT, and you realize that a lot of people have been able to work from far distances. They get contracts in Kenya, and they literally at times may not visit this country, but they're still able to do their work right from the countries of engagement like India or the rest, especially on issues of IT. If you visited the Silicon City in US, you find that a lot of work goes in there, especially for the multinationals, and they're able to, from there, they actually are able to see the world as it is, and they're able to advance a lot of good work. And that one means that the bottom line, by the end of the day, companies continue to make lots of profit and with less expenditure. I can mention slightly about ability to keep information. You know, there before, issues of videos and recording of activities was key. And I remember some people who survived on video, you know, as it were, video, the physical thing, moving around and having to shoot it, whatever the event is taking place. But you realize that today, because of social media, another advantage, and I think I'm talking about the sixth one right now, you realize that the people or professionals don't have to move the way they used to move. I remember then, those who come from the villages, if you had your wedding done right in the village, it required you to wait for the video man who has taken the video to come to Nairobi, work on it, you know, bring films to you, and you know, sometimes they get lost on the way. But today, that is a thing of the past. Social media has done a lot in the society, and when I talk about the society, I essentially talk about families. I would want to look at the negative effects of social media in a small way, because many times when social media was not fully accepted in this country, you realize that people used to look at the negative side only. And I remember engaging a lot as a counseling psychologist with many family members, talking about how families have been broken by social media in their families. I remember also when I was in Bible school, trying to do some research on why social media is breaking families. And one of the things that I did was to have two couples who had issues about social media. You know, issues of locking your screen so that the other couple should not get it. And I was able to look at the other side, what they were actually not saying, and I saw that if I put a password on my phone so that you don't just get easily into it, it should not reflect to that I'm hiding my wife any information. Probably I'm doing something to protect my phone from the mess that the child can do in the house, or even an enemy to the information that it holds. So I think mostly I would say social media has some negatives, but I believe quite few of them. I want to mention a few of them. One is about addiction. I believe that, and I look at three social networks. When you look at Facebook first, they say Facebook has the highest level of addiction. You know, Instagram follows in terms of addiction, and then Snapchat is also said to be it's It's a newer type of social network. Of course, latest we have others like TikTok, where all these are social media that probably most of the times are able to engage the youth for a lot. They believe that if you cannot put down, or rather if you are not able to engage your followers, or even you are not able to keep it aside at least for 30 minutes or at least for half a day, then you are already addicted. From the data taken about dependence on social media, it is advised that you should have days when you keep it away. You should have days when you keep it totally away and see whether you can survive without the Facebook, the followers who follow you. Is it possible that you can keep your Instagram a whole day aside? Are you able to keep any other social networks? Even the people who follow you, YouTubers, you realize that people believe that you cannot go into YouTube, that you must go into YouTube every other day. And you find that if you don't appear in a day, the people who follow you might even be able to notice. Personally, I know that I have I'm following quite a number of people, especially some of the senior people, political players in the country, because I want to know what they are trying to say. But I can tell you, I still believe that I'm able to do without, like yesterday, for example, Saturday, the 5th, I think I did not go into the social network so much, and that one did not have a lot of effect on me. The other negative side about social networks is that it could be misleading. Sometimes, you might find a blogger who takes out information there that may not be proven. And that is the main problem about the social networks or social media. Most of the information that we get is not proved. And I've seen people trying to act and to respond to things that have actually not been proven. And that one may land you into some trouble. The other one is that a lot of social media has separated families. It has separated couples or even children with their parents, because you find that they are engaging too much. Especially YouTube, you find people are engaging from morning to evening. And actually, you find families are not able to meet. I am aware of a family that I'm currently working on. They are going through some counseling process with myself, and when I follow all what went down is because they engage so much in social media, and actually most of their communication, because I've been able to follow and see myself, most of their communication is still done through WhatsApp. And if the parents, because the parents are living not far from where we are now, and because they are most of the times they are working, you find that if they want to pass information to their children who are now grown up, and probably one or two of them staying with them, you find that they take that information they're able to send through the information through the WhatsApp. And what I got about one of the daughters who has really distanced herself from the family is that she doesn't interact. And so what I can say today is that let us be careful about social media. Let us confirm the information that comes out, and above all, let us avoid the issue of addiction being there many times.